Run out of praise, your son on the federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery game. You had to catch Kyle and thunk it. Was you who punked his? I'm the one who strung the pain. That hill you can die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I still on you suckers, I'm mauling you niggas gang. I ain't much for me, it's no how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pains. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat to even say my name. You ever heard of a wonder kid? My children is some of them. Have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get under skin? I really get under skin. Ask how I'm playing. Y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence, nigga, straight. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass nigga still stuttering. And Chatty Patty down on his luck again. Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him. You wonder why I do the freestyle rehearsal. That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids. Enough of them. A rapper can't be my eye. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You trying to break the government. I prayed for 40 days. My neck get flooded again. Wrists get flooded again. My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up to Hove. I never looked up to them. The crackers got your publishing gangster. Go talk tough to them. Don't talk success to me. You niggas is workers.
Welcome to the channel. Subscribe and like the video. The conversation around Drake and Jay-Z had been building for months as fans, critics, and media personalities debated the direction of hip-hop's biggest stars. During one particularly heated discussion, Drake was imagined as questioning whether Jay-Z had become too focused on discussing fine art, billion-dollar investments, luxury acquisitions, private collections, and elite circles, rather than delivering the relatable, hunger, and street-level perspective that originally connected him to millions of listeners. Drake argued that every generation of rap listeners wants authenticity, but authenticity means different things depending on where an artist is in life. He suggested that while there was nothing wrong with success, constantly emphasizing Basquiat paintings, boardroom victories, champagne brands, and exclusive events could create distance between an artist and the average listener who was still struggling to pay bills, raise families, and navigate everyday life. The comments quickly spread throughout the culture, with fans taking sides. Some agreed that Jay-Z's recent material often reflected the perspective of a businessman and mogul. Others argued that after decades of success, it would be dishonest for Jay-Z to pretend he was still living the life he had left behind years ago. The debate intensified until, in this imagined exchange, Jay-Z finally addressed the criticism directly. His response was measured but unmistakably sharp. He explained that the same people criticizing him for talking about ownership were often the same people who once criticized rappers for glorifying poverty, violence, and financial struggle. He argued that his journey represented growth rather than abandonment of his roots. According to this fictional speech, Jay-Z pointed out that he spent years documenting the realities of his upbringing and that his current life naturally reflected different experiences. He challenged the notion that discussing wealth was somehow less authentic than discussing hardship, saying that both were simply reflections of reality at different stages of life. Jay-Z continued by arguing that ownership had become one of the most important topics in modern hip-hop because too many artists were still signing away rights, masters, publishing revenue, and long-term financial opportunities. He claimed that every time he referenced an art collection, an investment, or a business venture, he was attempting to show younger artists examples of what was possible beyond chart positions and streaming numbers. In this imagined rebuttal, he emphasized that collecting art was not merely about displaying wealth, but about preserving culture, supporting creators, and participating in economic systems that historically excluded many people from communities like the ones he came from. The response became even more pointed when Jay-Z addressed generational expectations. He stated that no artist should be expected to remain frozen in time for the comfort of an audience. According to this fictional account, he argued that demanding a 50-something-year-old billionaire rap exactly like a hungry 20-year-old would be dishonest and creatively limiting. He compared the expectation to asking a champion athlete to pretend they had never won a title or asking a successful entrepreneur to ignore decades of accomplishments. Jay-Z maintained that evolution was not a betrayal of hip-hop, but proof that hip-hop itself had matured. He reminded listeners that earlier generations fought for acceptance and legitimacy, while newer generations benefited from doors that had already been opened. He suggested that part of his responsibility was demonstrating what life could look like after reaching the highest levels of success. As the imagined exchange continued, Jay-Z reportedly turned his attention directly toward Drake's perspective. He acknowledged Drake's accomplishments and influence, but suggested that every artist eventually reaches a point where audiences question their relevance, authenticity, or connection to the culture. He argued that longevity required embracing change rather than resisting it. In this fictional response, Jay-Z explained that criticism often arrives when an artist refuses to remain inside the box that others have created for them. He claimed that discussions about art, investments, and legacy were not evidence of disconnection, but evidence of growth. He also noted that many listeners who mocked discussions about ownership would later praise those same concepts once they understood their value. The debate quickly became one of the most discussed topics in hip-hop circles. Analysts dissected every line, every quote, and every implication. Some viewed Drake's criticism as a valid observation about modern rap and celebrity culture. Others believed Jay-Z's response highlighted an important truth about evolution and ambition. In this imagined scenario, Jay-Z continued by explaining that the culture often celebrates visible success while simultaneously criticizing successful people for discussing how they achieved it. He argued that there was a contradiction in wanting rappers to become wealthy while also expecting them never to speak about wealth. According to the fictional narrative, he said that references to art collections were not fundamentally different from earlier generations referencing luxury, cars, jewelry, or expensive clothing. The difference was that art represented an asset capable of appreciating in value rather than merely signaling status. He emphasized that understanding investments, ownership, and wealth preservation was just as important as understanding lyrics, flows, and production. The response resonated because it touched on larger questions surrounding hip-hop's future. Was rap primarily entertainment, or was it also a vehicle for economic education? Could discussions of wealth coexist with discussions of struggle? Did success create distance from audiences, or did it provide valuable lessons? In this imagined exchange, Jay-Z argued that the answer was balance. He maintained that artists should be free to discuss whatever reflected their genuine experiences. He rejected the idea that authenticity required permanent proximity to hardship. Instead, he defined authenticity as honesty. If a rapper lived among investors, entrepreneurs, and collectors, then rapping about those environments was more authentic than pretending otherwise. The fictional response ended with Jay-Z delivering a message that many interpreted as both a defense and a challenge. He stated that every generation has a responsibility to expand the possibilities available to the next one. He explained that earlier generations fought for record deals, radio play, and industry respect. Later generations pursued global dominance and digital influence. His generation, he argued, sought ownership, equity, and lasting legacy. He suggested that conversations about art collections were never really about paintings hanging on walls. They were about transferring wealth, building institutions, preserving culture, and demonstrating that hip-hop figures could participate in spaces that once seemed unreachable. Whether people agreed or disagreed, the imagined exchange became symbolic of a broader discussion about success, growth, and authenticity in rap music. Drake's criticism represented concerns about relatability and cultural connection, while Jay-Z's response represented a defense of evolution and ambition. The fictional debate ultimately highlighted the tension that emerges whenever artists achieve extraordinary success. Some listeners want them to remain connected to their origins, while others celebrate their transformation into something larger. In this imagined scenario, Jay-Z made it clear that he would not apologize for growth, ownership, or discussing the realities of his current life. He argued that his story was not about abandoning where he came from, but about demonstrating how far someone could travel. And with that, the conversation shifted from art collections and luxury lifestyles to a deeper question that has followed hip-hop for decades. What does authenticity truly mean when a rapper has already achieved everything they once dreamed about?